Bro, you know what day it is because it is time for the pop-off. It is 12:05. That means we are right on time on this Friday, and we are going to do the damn thing. Like Captain America coming in hot with low ratings, but you might enjoy it. My name is Nigel Downer. I will be your Captain America today, although I am coming from the Great White North. But what would this pod be without our Red Hulk Genefitzmagic? Gene, what's up, dude?
I'm super cranky today.
Okay. Yeah. See, fitting. I knew it. Tell us what's up.
I'm just gonna be a little spicy today than normal. Maybe it's not even the topic. It's just I'm in a bad mood, so I'm gonna take it out on everybody we talk about.
There you go. See that? I'm calling it as I see it. And my sidekick to my right, if you're watching on the YouTubes, none other than the new Falcon. What's up, James Wudi, aka what's his name? Joaquin. Wow, how do you say that?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin,
Joaquin,
the new Falcon. What's up, Wudi? What's good?
Hey, you already know what it is. We ready to talk, ready to walk, fully recovered from whatever was happening last week. So you know the voice. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. We back, baby.
Oh man, you know what it is. It is going to be a time. And you know what? Shout out to our boy Caleeb, who could not be here with a little bit of a scheduling conflict last minute today. So we will see him next week, though. I say that every week, and we will see him. I'm telling you, we're gonna see him. So Caleeb, we love you, bro. We'll see you soon. Now, let's jump into all the fun and shenanigans that happened this week. We are going to jump right into some NFL news. Yes, there is still NFL news. It's going to get quiet, so we got to take as much as we can right now and talk about it, get it out of our systems. And I am talking about the never-ending story that is Aaron Rodgers. This guy is trying to find some kind of a suitor. Suitors are not really looking out for him is what we're thinking, is what we're hearing. And now he has contacted, or his people has contacted, somebody in his camp has contacted the New York Football Giants. Think about it for just a second while Genefitzmagic breaks it down. Gene, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers contacting the New York Giants?
All right. Well, we heard last week where he said he's tentatively deciding what he wants to do about retirement or to keep playing. And I think he is full of shit. He is tentatively deciding because he's waiting for someone to want to say, we want you. And if nobody says we want you, guess what he's going to do? He's like, hey, guys, I really think about it. I think I'm just going to retire. I think he's just trying to save face at the end of his career. That's why they reached out to the Giants to put him there, which, to be honest with you, if there's a fit, it's probably there. You know what I mean? He's already adapted to the city, to New York City. He's already, he's going into a team that has no clear path as far as what they want to do quarterback wise. So he would actually be a good fit there. But I also don't think that he's trying to find a good fit. He's trying to find any fit. And if he doesn't find if nobody wants him, he's going to come up, well, I was going to retire anyway. I think that's what he's going to do. But I do think the Giants make a lot of sense for him and for the Giants. So I can't see that not happening as long as everything is right. He doesn't really need the money. He hasn't needed the money since he took Archie's lunch money in the third grade, right? So it's a Caleb. That's the part of reference. I kind of think that this is the perfect fit for him if they want him. Depends on where they go in the first round of the draft too. You know what I mean? Do they go with a guy that they're not going to want to sit on the bench for a year or two? A Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders? We'll see.
Wudi.
The fit, I'm not really seeing the fit. I'm not seeing the fit. If we're talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Giants, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is that glove. The Giants are O.J. Simpson. I'm not really sure if the glove fit because what Aaron Rodgers is looking for is one last rodeo. He wants a chance to win a Super Bowl. That's what he came to New York to do. Ooh, Gene, are you okay? You got some gas? What's up?
If that was the case, then why did he reach out to the Giants?
Well, I mean, he's looking. He's looking.
He just wants to. Listen, trust me. Aaron Rodgers just wants to play, and he wants to play another year. He doesn't really care where it is as long as it's in the NFL. And if nobody wants him, he's gonna be like, well, I wasn't gonna play anyway. That's his game plan because he's got too big of an ego. If it was the Giants on this in this situation where the Giants were reaching out, I'd say Wudi, you're 100% correct. He doesn't want to go to a place he's not going to win. But the fact remains is that he went to the Giants. I think he just wants to play ball and try to have another couple of years to fix what looked like a horrible ending with the Jets.
Definitely, I mean, it arguably looked horrible. You can't go out like that, especially someone with the pride that he has. So you may be right. Maybe he is just looking for a home. He's just a stray cat. Yeah, just looking for that home anywhere that can bring him in. But if I'm the Giants, I'm not sure if that's what you need to do. I mean, Brian Dable, this is his last chance, right? People were saying he was going to get fired last year. They married themselves to Daniel Jones, who we all knew. I think everyone outside of the Giants land knew that they were making a huge mistakes, but Giants fans, they were hyped. I got people on my phone right now I can hit up that still are being like, oh, they didn't give Daniel Jones a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but this is he needs to get this right. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't even know if you can call that a Band-Aid on a bullet wound because he's not going to fix anything. He's just going to play. He's only there for himself. Which I'm not even saying that Rodgers, selfish player, like that whole, narrative. But at this point, that is what he's doing. Like, he's playing for himself. He's playing because he was embarrassed. He needs to go out on a better note. So if I'm the Giants, that doesn't help me at all. What you need is stability. What you need, life after Eli has been rough. You've been Daniel Jones, Cutlets, Drew Lock. Like, you need some stability. So what you need to do is make sure that you get Shadur Sanders. That's what you need to do. That will cure all their problems. If they don't, for some odd reason, feel like drafting a quarterback, they got such a high pick. Then I guess Sam Darnold, Sam I am. That's somebody who you again can have in your room for the years to come. That's what they need. Whoever they choose this year, the plan is to be to have them for years to come because you have Malik Neighbors, who can literally become a top receiver in football. He already looked like one, but the inconsistent play. You need consistency at QB so you can develop your elite wide receiver. Look at what the Jets did for Garrett Wilson. They've been stunting that boy's growth. Call him Gary Coleman because the boy, he can't grow because they got Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, all these bums after bums after bums. And that's what they've done to Garrett. You do not want to repeat the same mistakes of the Jets, and you need to get stability at QB for Malik Neighbors.
I just got two things. I think where we give him a hard time for keeping Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the fact is when he came in, his whole thing was, I'm going to fix Daniel Jones. I'm going to fix Daniel Jones. So I think they needed to make sure that he wasn't the answer unequivocally, because that was part of his sales pitch to getting the job, right? Is look what I did with Josh Allen. I could do the same thing with Daniel Jones. And I also do think that where they do want to go rookie quarterback right now, they're playing for their lives. They kind of need to win now. And I think with what we've seen rookie quarterbacks do the last few years within Washington last year, in Houston the year before that, they need to get a rookie quarterback that's going to win now, as opposed to 3 years from now. And what's easier, getting that rookie quarterback right, or going out and getting a veteran that just won last year that you can bring into your organization to win this year? It's a tricky situation. And what we need to think about is the head coach and the GM going to be picking the quarterback for themselves or for the Giants, right? Are they picking the quarterback to save their jobs or to save the organization? That's the question. Because if I'm a guy where I know if I'm one bad year out the door, I might look for a guy that might only have, who cares if he only has 2 or 3 years? He saves me a little bit of time, right? You're not looking for 10 years from now. You're looking at, let me keep my job next year. You know what I mean? So what direction they would go in. If they can get that guy that they know will be a winner this coming year, then that's all good. If they're getting a guy that they say, hey, it's gonna be a couple of years to get him, do they have that kind of time to develop him? That's the question.
Yeah,
I think those are all. Yeah, go ahead, Woody. Go ahead.
No, they probably don't, but that is a really good point. Are they picking it for themselves or the Giants? Right, the best for the Giants is Shadur. But if if they're looking, but I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, the man won 5 games last year, so I don't know if he can be considered the winner of yesteryear, because he was he did not win a lot of games. In that case, you might as well get my boy Russ, or Mr. Unlimited. Might as well hit him up. But I don't know. I don't know who they're picking for. And that's a really, really good point. If they go into business for themselves, they're probably going with the vet. But I think I even think if you're Dable, right, and you win 7 games with Shador, you might get another year. You might be like, hey, so I still think the safer option for them is the QB, because there are more excuses. If you win 7 games with Rodgers, you're out. You're done.
Yeah, agreed.
You're done. But 7 games with Shador is like, one more year under, in the league, and so we'll see what happens. To Knicks 100 GM, I feel like their line is pretty solid. I don't really think that was too big of an issue this past season. They got all pro left tackle Andrew Thomas. Last season, or during the offseason, I feel like they did a really good job at addressing the interior. And then on the right side, they got Jermaine Illuminor, who I actually wanted to be a Jet. And right now we don't even have a right tackle, so that would have been nice if we got him instead of old man Moses. But I think their line is pretty solid. They did a good job rebuilding it this past offseason. Now they just need someone to put behind the line. Cutlets, Drew Lock. I mean, it's terrible.
Well, to be fair, the center's been a little shaky, the rookie center, which I'm wrong. Sure. I was wrong on, because he's actually the guy I wanted him more than Tittman draft season. And so thank God I was wrong on that one. I thought he was the top center, Schmidt over Tittman, and they Jets went Tittman. I was like, I really wanted Schmidt. So thank God I was wrong on that. Or thank God they went the other direction on that one.
Yeah, they listen to they.
And they need to maybe, hopefully it's maybe for the Giants' sake, more snaps for him. But they may, he's running out of leash, right, as they say. So, and the other thing is, Andrew Thomas, who had a shaky start to his career, really, really fixed it, right? Like, he's become an all-pro. But the thing is his health. He's missed a load of games over the last 2 or 3 years. Since he's actually become good, he's missed a ton of games. So that's got to be something that you got to keep into consideration as well. Is what's the best availability, as they always say. And so that's the one thing I think that hurts Andrew Thomas, is the fact that his injury record is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. All pro don't mean nothing if you're not on the field. So,
and listen, when he's healthy, he's phenomenal, right? He's the best in the game when he's healthy.
Yeah,
he's got to stay healthy.
I will just say, quarterbacks being sacked, like, yes, obviously offensive line, right? That's a big deal. But I would say sacks are kind of misleading, because bad quarterbacks get sacked. I had to watch it for years and years of Zach Wilson. The boy can't. I don't even know if he can read a book, but I know for damn sure he cannot read an NFL defense. So every single time the ball was in his hands, he's just holding on to the ball. He led the league in just time holding on to the ball. Garrett Wilson's open, but don't matter. He can't read a defense, and now he's getting sacked. So I think offensive lines sometimes get too much flack for those sack numbers. And this year, the Jets' offensive line was rated, so well in pass blocking, but I think it's the exact opposite. It was because Aaron was not trying to get hit, so he was getting the ball out, one of the quickest in the NFL, and now all of a sudden the offensive line, that's mostly the same dudes, we're looking great. So I wouldn't say necessarily, offensive, these 6 sacks, it's all the O-line. It's that the QBs behind the line don't know what the F they're doing.
This is a fantastic start. Let me remind y'all that, hey, you know what? The Giants finished 3-14 last season. They have the number 3 pick in the first round. So these are a lot of things that the New York Giants football club has to consider when they're either going to make a trade or make a draft, or whoever they decide to reach out to in the free agency pool. I think you're right. The reason I think everything is so QB heavy is because that seems like it is the immediate future. Right now, people are the hot position is the QB. That's the bottom line, because people think, or organizations feel, that those are the fixers, right? And so having a mediocre quarterback or serviceable quarterback is decent now, but now we see that our teams need more athletic quarterbacks that can read faster, throw faster, and if they're going to run, be more efficient at the run. So the quarterback just seems to be the hot topic, and there's been a slew of them that have been coming out of the college system that have been pretty good. So it's interesting topic. So I hear you. Knicks 100 AGM. Oh, also, I want to make sure to give a shout out to all the people that just showed up. What's up, Jonathan, Sunil? How you doing, my friend? David, yes, what's going on? Who else is there? Yeah, Knicks, what's up? Mets 2128. Hello. And thank you, everybody who's tuning in via X or Twitter, whichever one you want to call it, and any other streaming platforms. Make sure that you jump in to the conversation here at the Pop Off. Do it on the YouTubes. Just switch over to the YouTubes real quick. You get to see our beautiful mugs, and then you also get to add your comments in, and we see them real time, and we can address that, because obviously this one topic was probably going to last about 45 seconds. Boom, we've already talked about it for 10 minutes, which I loved every minute of it. And now onto more topics. Let's talk about this. Matthew Stafford, Wudi, you did bring it up, so we'll start with you. Are the Raiders a good fit? I mean, there's a rumor, do you think he'll end up there, or do you think he'll end up somewhere else? What do you think?
I hope for Stafford's case. I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan. It would be a shame to watch him waste the rest of his career on the Raiders. I don't think he has too many years left. One of the daggers of being one of the Iron Men, toughest guys, to ever, play the game out here, throwing game winners with a separated shoulder, is that you break down way earlier in your career. So although, it's 37, right? That's only, 30 in Tom Brady years. For Matthew Stafford years, it's like 41, because he's broken down a lot. I think he only has 2-3 years max. Like absolute max. So I think he deserves to be on a contender. The Rams, honestly, if he had stayed with the Rams and McVay, what they got going on, that would probably be the best solution. But they did his boy Cooper Kupp dirty, and now he's looking elsewhere. And I need him to look somewhere else. I don't think the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders don't even have. They have nothing. Right? There's not Josh Jacobs over there. Like, at least running game. No, there's no Devontae Adams. No, they literally have nothing. They got Tom Brady as an owner. That's what they have. And Max Crosby, who doesn't even want to be there.
And Powers. That's it.
It's bad. It is bad. So, come to the Jets. That's one place. Oh my God, if we got Stafford, I would be hyped. But there's definitely other places that he can go where it's not about, just fading into the sunset, where he can still compete at a high level. He has so much left to give this game in these next couple of years that he can, teach either the next man up. He can help receivers. I mean, this man is a tunnel funnel, or a funnel target, right? Like he, Cooper Kupp, right, got the Triple Crown. Calvin Johnson, right? He's fed Kenny Galladay, Golden Tate. The amount of targets he feeds his number ones is insane. So for any team that has a number one that you want to develop properly, like a Garrett Wilson, it's a perfect place for Stafford to go. And in Vegas, they have nobody for those targets to go. So that is not a good fit. I have mentioned the Jets 5 times, but there's a little bit of bias there. I can probably think of another team while Gene goes. Yeah, right now the Jets, that would be fantastic. Oh, the Steelers, another good one.
Thank you. I was waiting patiently. But the rumor is that the Steelers are looking to bring at least one of the experiments back, which is Field or Westbrook. One of them, Wilson, sorry, not Westbrook, Wilson back. I don't know which one. I have a preference, which is neither, but hey, I'm not running that office there. So we'll see. And Knicks 108 in GM, hilarious, man. He's just like he's adamant about fixing the New York Giants. Fine, still on the topic. Yes, get that TV, get that CV. I love it, but the line needs to be fixed. We will put a direct link into the Giants' ear and let them know that is a high demand from you yourself, my friend.
Shout out to Kyle McCord. That's the kid from Syracuse. Led all QBs in college football in yardage. Won me a lot of money in my parlays. I would just ladder every time. Kyle McCord, 300 yards, 325, 350.
There you go.
Oh my God, was it sweet eating when Kyle McCord was playing? And you got the FanDuel ladder going.
There you go. So what are we thinking, Gene? What's the deal? What are your thoughts on Stafford and where she land? Or should he just stay home? Should he just stay there? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the best fit for him. Listen, they had a nice run last year towards the end of the season. They're a team that's in win now mode. It would make no sense for the Rams to want to move him. Just give him the extra. It's not like he wants a tremendous amount of money. He just wants the fair amount for what quarterbacks of his caliber are getting paid. You don't got to pay him long term. You just have to redo his contract for like 2 or 3 years. Give him the money. Get him another weapon. Next to Puka Nacua, or just bring the other kid back. But yeah, the best place for him to go is to stay right where he is there. And it would make no sense for the Rams to want to move him. They're close right now. They're the closest team to be able to beating the Eagles, I believe, in the NFC. AFC is a different story. But as far as the NFC is concerned, they're the closest team. I'm not saying they can. I'm not saying they would. But right now I feel like they're the closest team to maybe detouring the Eagles if there was.
I feel like that's a crazy take, but
they were close. Listen, they played well last year. You don't think they played well in the postseason last year?
What do you mean? The Niners were hurt. Like the Niners are still an elite team.
I don't know what the Niners are going to do this offseason. They will also want to get rid of Debo. Who knows what they're going to do this year? And it shows you when two injuries happen, the 49ers are what? 1 or 2 injuries happen, the 49ers are this. This is what they are.
That's any team. What are you talking about?
Okay, but is Trent Williams going to be healthy next year? He's only getting older, and we've seen the last couple of years he's injury every single year. So Trent Williams is going to probably be a problem again next year. You're getting rid of Debo, so who's going to step in? You got Ayuk, who had a bad injury this year. Do you know what I mean? And before his injury, it's called what it was. He wasn't really having a great start to the season before his injury.
He was not.
I don't know what the 49ers are going to be, going into next season. Will they be? I think they'll be good defensively. I don't know what they'll be offensively necessarily. We now are seeing these guys as they get older on offense and they're getting injured. And does that mean by next year they're going to be even better? All these guys are getting older and older, except for the quarterback. Obviously, he is still a pup. If I'm the Rams, I bring him back. I give it one more run with him, and we go from there. They're not going to get anybody better than him right now. They're in a win. They're pretty much win now mode. What other quarterback are they going to get to plug in that's going to be better than Matthew Stafford for what, $5 million a year? Just get it done with, make him happy, and move on move on the way it's been.
I kind of agree. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he just fits great there. He signed a 4-year deal, $160 million contract in 2022. All right, so we know it's coming towards the end, and it's like, he threw for just under 4,000 yards with 20 touchdowns and 8 interceptions last season. I mean, those are ridiculous numbers with a crew that was banged up at the beginning of the season. And then mid-season, they got it together, figured it out, and then made a really great, exciting run. And it's always nice to see, for some reason, to see the Rams in the mix down the stretch. I don't know what it is about them, but it's nice. I mean, and they finished with a winning record too, right? They finished with what, like was it 10-7, top of their division? I mean, top of the NFC West? I don't know.
And real quick on Sunil, I wouldn't get rid of Debo, but he's on the trading block. They put him up on the trading block. Like they've already told him that they're looking to move him. So I agree. Getting rid of him, it shouldn't happen, but it might not happen. But all the other signs are there that it could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that's that big of a. I think Debo Samuel is one of the more overrated players in the league.
I agree to an extent too. I like how he's almost like a Swiss Army knife, but we've seen injuries because of the so many different things he can do. So in the moment, having him be able to run the ball like a running back, he's got those thick legs like Saquon, right, is great. But it's going to take years off his career, right? And we know that. So they might be looking at it long term, like, all right, well, when is he going to totally fall off? The same way running backs, teams get rid of running backs before they're completely done because they don't want to have that contract when they finally fall off the cliff. They might be looking at it the same way with Debo. Debo does a lot of things in that offense that they might say, okay, we don't have.
He wasn't doing them this past year. You said all those injuries. Debo was healthy and they couldn't do shit.
No, I agree. But I'm talking about in past years how they've done it with this exact offense.
Oh, yes. So, yeah.
It might have been the reason why he was healthy this year, to be honest.
True. All right, let's do this. Why don't we just mash up the two topics that we just talked about previously? Because I'm curious, and we'll go with Gene first, and then Wudi, you can chime in whenever, or we can just go have at it and see we can fight it out. But who is more likely to play together? Since we did talk about Rodgers and we did just talk about Stafford, who is more likely to play together, Rodgers and Devontae, or Stafford and Kupp?
I think Stafford and Kupp.
Really?
because they can bring him back and it not be an issue. Rodgers and Adams are both going to be elsewhere. It's got to work out for them both to end up in the same place. Kupp and Stafford are already in the same place. They just need to just get it fixed up and patch it up and bring.
But they told Kupp that you're not coming back. But they literally explicitly said that.
That's the tough part for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like, what do you mean?
Here's my thing is he still is under contract technically.
Right.
They can fix all that stuff up and bring him back. The other two are going to be separate free agents that are going to go separate places, possibly. It could happen. But right now, if I was to take a guess and I was to bet on it, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it happens in both scenarios. But if I was to say which scenario has a higher chance of happening, I go with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wholeheartedly disagree because they are free. They can literally choose like where to go together. Like whoever gets a job first can be like, "Yo, bring in my boy." And then like,
what about them both going to Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh needs another receiver and they need a quarterback.
Yo, I'm down.
Not
Wait, hold on. Down with who? Wait, Rodgers?
Rodgers?
No, I'm out. No, zero chance.
Oh,
no, zero chance. I don't want no, because we don't need to get into this at all. But Rodgers is a liability, man. We all know this. We know that you're just unsure. You're unsure of what's going to happen between him and Wilson. It might have been the same person. Like, we don't know. It's just like when they scramble, we don't know. Like, their scrambling efforts aren't what they used to be. And it was quite apparent this season. Like, quite apparent. Because once they jumped out of the pocket, once they went past one dude, once they go past the center, you really didn't know what was going to happen. It's not a Mahomes situation where you're like, oh, magic's going to happen. Come on, baby. Here's a flip pass. They literally were scrambling for their lives and for their muscles not to pop. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I just think, because they are free, literally free, they have the freedom to choose. Cooper Kupp, I don't understand why the team would say, hey, we're going to trade you, and then all of a sudden, not trade you. Like, it's not like Cooper was unhappy. Like, now they literally made him unhappy by saying, we're not bringing you back. So now, even if they, for some reason, change their mind, who's going to be like, F you? Like, what do you mean? No,
he could be, or he can say, you know what? I see what we can do as a team. Stafford says, hey, listen, I'm staying. Let's go with one more try. Let's do it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it could.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to think Devontae and Aaron, they can choose. The Rams would have to make two different trades, or I guess one trade, if possible, to the same team. In that, the compensation, everything gets real tricky there because Cooper Kupp, he's about to be overpaid, and I think that's why they're getting rid of him because he's about to make $21 million to get 0 yards. You want to talk about? I'll just give a shout out to Kyle McCord, my guy, making me money off the line. You know how much money I've lost betting on Cooper Kupp? 25 yards. The man can't get 25 yards.
And a lot of injuries too. I think what you're going to see is maybe they finally cooler heads prevail. Maybe they do a little restructure and they bring the band back together.
All right, we see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we will see. We will see. Love
It's the
that.
best. Is it not the best option for them as a whole?
From where we sit, yeah, but we don't know what's going on. You know,
No,
Kelly's
I know we don't know the behind closed
process.
doors, but I think for like I said, from where we sit, it's the best option. I think for all parties involved.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
And real quick, we have over 100 people on X right now.
Hey,
Come on
what's up,
over.
100 people? We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in, listening to the pop off. You know what? While you're here, you might as well just, I don't know, like, subscribe, share. You know, let the people know. Why don't we get to like 125? I'm not upset about it. Let's get to 125 or maybe like, 150. I'm not being too ambitious. You know what I mean? So thanks again for listening to the pop off. We are still going strong. You want to comment and jump in on this, then please jump over to YouTube. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like button. And now we're going to move on. We're still talking QBs though, because where does Jalen Hurts rank? The Super Bowl champion and MVP Jalen Hurts, where does he rank in the list of top QBs in the NFL? Now let's talk about the current roster. And if you even want to jump over to the idea of, hey, where does he land? All time or more modern age, I'm all for it. So anybody let's go Wudi first and then we'll go Gene. What do you think, Wudi?
Yeah, I was talking more right today, like in the leagues best QBs today. He is absolutely, positively not top 5. I'm trying to decide if he is in the top 10. I feel like he could be like number 10, number 9 or 10, but most likely like 12.
So he barely cracks the top 10 for you. And if he's in there, he's at the bottom. All right. Gene?
Sorry, this cracks me up. You know what? Maybe I'm being too generous. Maybe I am. I don't even know. I might be.
You can't call him Trent Dilfer. That's unfair, man. You think to yourself at first glance, he's got to be a top 10 quarterback, right? Like, but then you realize you start thinking of other quarterbacks in the league, and you realize, all right, wait, so there's this guy. Next thing you know, you get to like 15, and you might not have still picked him, right? I would say he's in the top half of the league with the potential to be a top 10, top 5 quarterback. He's got that potential, man. He's got the receivers, he's got the body, he's got the tools, he's got the gifts. He just doesn't seem to put it together in a game. It's just kind of like the games kind of get away from him, and thank God this is Saquon Barkley there. I gotta agree with Wudi. I think he's more like a top 15 type quarterback.
Listen, you're not going to get any pushback from me. I'm in the exact same camp. I mean, I could put him anywhere from 9 to 15. You could just kind of slide on any given Sunday in that ranking. There's nothing about him. I mean, we already know the top 5 is locked in with people like Mahomes and Jackson and Allen, and you know what I mean? There's already 3 slots gone. But I just feel like he's just 10. I would say 10 at that. Yeah, because I even think Stroud is better than he is. I mean,
think about all the quarterbacks you would take before him, right?
Yeah,
you'd probably rail off at least 12 in 12 seconds.
Yeah. So I probably go the bottom half of 10. So 10, 9 or 10. I think for me as well.
Nick's brought up a great point, right? That's my biggest problem. Like I don't think he's accurate. In short yardage, deep balls, I literally do not think he's accurate. He's at the benefit of some of the greatest, deep ball, ball tracker, ball hawks in the league, in AJ Brown and Devontae. And then of course Saquon's hands have always been elite. But even Saquon's only 1 year, right? So even the previous years, he's always had, sure-handed targets. So I think there's a lot of benefit, that O-line not getting touched up. Right? He has 5 seconds to make a decision. And then the receivers, oh my God. I mean, he's in one of the more favorable, he's like in a top 4 favorable situation. I'm talking about, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy when they're all healthy.
Yep.
Right. Jalen Hurts. that's kind of the list right there. But he's not accurate. I don't think he is good at, reading a defense, making decisions quickly, and pressure. He gets tripped up on pressure. So when you consider all that, and then like you said, C.J. Stroud, even my guy Matthew Stafford, I'm taking Stafford in 2025 over Jalen Hurts, no hesitation. So yeah.
And now let's not take away. We're not saying this. We're not saying he was not worthy, or we're not discrediting his 2 Super Bowl rings and his 1 Super Bowl MVP. We're not doing that.
That's 1 ring, 2 appearances.
Sorry. Yes, that's right. 1 ring, 2 appearances. My bad. Yeah. Because hey, shout out. We all know it's a hard road to get there. He did the thing. He had to help lead the team. We get that. But hey, I mean, shout out to him. But again, you at 10, bro. You at 10. Now to finish out this NFL chatter, there has been a little bit of conversation. Pro games are changing a lot of things, and technology is helping change the thing. Let's talk about the chains. 2 chains. They are no longer going to be in use, except for, I believe, when they go into playoffs or for backup. But with the NFL is going into a now technology-based electronic measurement. What do we think? How will that impact the game? The ball is going to be chipped, so it's more accurate. Woo! What's going on here, Gene? What do you think?
What is there not to love? You can say, "Oh, we can't take the refereeing outside of human, away from the humans." But if this gets us a more accurate, a more definitive answer to where the ball, first down or not, touchdown or not, I'm all for it. If it's gonna now, as long as if it works, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Right? We're talking about numbers and lasers and however they would do it. Technology. Even if it's not a glaring omission by the referees in a game, any little bit, right, could mount up. All right, so they say the guy gets 4 yards on the first carry, but they throw it off a little bit and they give the guy 5 yards, and it's closer than it should be. And now that makes the next play a first down because he gets it a half yard over. There's little things that we don't even see that aren't a big, bad call. It could be a small little call that happens in the first quarter that butterfly effects to the game being totally different at the end of the game, right? This is gonna get rid of all that. It's one of the things that's gonna help get rid of all that. So I have no problem with it. And again, I'm not one of these guys that says that to get rid of a bad play, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I gotta wholeheartedly agree. It's definitely not. It's not a negative. This is only positive. There's nothing bad that can happen. Refs, some refs might get exposed. You know what I'm saying? The ones trying to fix that parlay. Oh, you know what? Let's move that back a little. All that type of stuff. Red, there's no argument. The chips in there. That's huge. It's just funny to me. Hey, I take this as an admission from the league that Josh Allen was robbed. They robbed the Bills. This is the second time that the Chiefs and the Bills have played in the AFC Championship, and as a direct result of that game, they changed a rule because they're like, you know what, this actually don't make sense, right? And Josh Allen has been the victim. He has been the victim twice now. Right, they changed the OT because he was robbed in that game, and now they saw that he was very clearly robbed of that first down. They cost him a Super Bowl appearance, and now they're changing this rule again. So, we'll see how many more times Josh Allen makes it to the AFC Championship and keeps changing the rules time and time again. We'll see what happens to that rule book over the years.
And I hope the rules do change in his favor to earn him at least one Lombardi. Just give the guy the thing. He is having a time. That franchise, man. Shout out to the Bills Mafia, because golly, y'all have been through it. You've been through the 7 commandments of football. You have been through Hades of football. Man, I remember in the 90s just watching watching the Bills do it in a row.
It was a glorious time.
Dude, it was year after year after year, and you're like, are you kidding me? You're like, for sure they're going to do it this year. For sure they're going to do it this year. And they haven't done it. So, hey, if this helps, this helps. If them refs going to get exposed, I think that's hilarious because they might. But who knows, man? Maybe he'll just put everything on the forefront and be like, hey, we should have done this sooner, but you know what? It's all good. Let's keep moving on. And let's keep going. So it's crazy. Yeah, Chiefs, Bills. Yeah, Sunil, that's not a bad analogy. Chiefs, Bills become the NFL version of Yankees, Astros. Not a bad analogy.
To an extent, Houston cheated.
Well, I wasn't good. We understand that, but I think, and I didn't want to bring that part up because I wanted to uplift the man. But you're not wrong. Houston did cheat, which is hilarious.
But they accused the Chiefs of the refs cheating.
Well, yeah, so that could be
kind of the same.
That could be it. Do you guys remember that? I know this is a little bit of sidebar, just because Sunil brought it up. I remember watching and I'm not a huge baseball guy, but I remember watching an Astros game and I could hear this thumping in the back, but it didn't really compute for me. And I was just like, oh, that's weird. And then 8 months down the road or whenever everything kind of, shit hit the fan, I was like, oh my God, like that's exactly what I heard was that kind of nonsense. It's just such a wild notion. And it was just right there in front of everybody's eyes and ears. You know what I mean? It's just so bananas. And they still get to keep the trophy. It is what it is. Great. Yeah, Gene, you got something to say about it?
No, I just hate them.
Okay, great. Moving right along, you know what time it is. We have reached roughly the halfway point of the pod here at the Pop Off. Please like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends, hang out. Please comment, jump in on the YouTubes, and thank you for everybody who's listening on all the other streams or watching on other streams. Man, it is time for Nigel's Cap Corner. Without further ado, I'm going to jump in. No theme song today because I am stoked about this one and future ones to come. You guys have a lot of hats. We all know this. I got a lot of caps. Okay, but in solidarity with the retro. And I just mentioned it, so it's a good segue into retro sports. Talked about those 90s Bills. I'm talking about the one and only Hartford Whalers. Now, right now, it's the Carolina Hurricanes, and they have been sporting this retro look for the last couple of years. This year might be their last. There's been a lot of backlash about, which teams should be wearing their retro fits because they don't play in that city anymore. Like, they've actually gone. It's not like they just changed the logo or changed the name. They've gone. They've moved on to a different city. But regardless, from officially 1972 to 1997, specifically in the NHL, 1979 to 97, the Hartford Whalers, one of the best logos in hockey of all time. If you don't see it, I'm going to share it with you right now. There's an H in there and there's a W, which is green, which is a fantastic design. This here, as you can see, it's got metallic threading throughout. And then on the right side here, you got this nice Whalers patch. Again, 1979 Hartford Whalers inaugural season. It's a fantastic patch. Again, metallic threading. And in the back, you have 5 stars, NHL shield, boom, in the Hartford blue and green, as well as the tone-on-tone New Era flag. And you got the you got the gray UV and the black guts in there. One of my faves. I got another one that I'm going to kick for you guys next week. I'm excited about that, but I just want to put that there. I am now updating vigorously my IG, so you can check out exclusively on Instagram or just find me. I got the link right there in the profile. Shameless plug, but man, I love hats, y'all. I love hats. Let's move on.
I saw them yesterday. You put up ones yesterday, right?
Yeah, I put up 2 yesterday from the prehistoric pack, and those 2 are wild. Like, I was gonna wear them today, but I was like, I gotta wear this one just because Carolina just wore their Hartford jerseys yesterday, or they're wearing them tonight. I can't remember. But yeah, I posted up 2 from the prehistoric pack. Gene, you like those ones too, eh? You like the
already did.
Diamondbacks and the Jays. Everybody, check it out. Like it. Let me know what you want to see because I probably have it. Okay, let's jump in to the NBA. Our boy Paul George is taking a break from podcasting. This is one of the most ridiculous headlines that we are all talking about. When I say all the sports outlets had to mention this. He's taking a break from podcasting to focus on winning, focusing on chasing that championship. But that being said, do the Sixers have any shot to win a ring with the Embiid Maxey PG trio? This has been a debate since the beginning of their tumultuous season. He capping. Yeah. What are we thinking about this? Let's go James first, and then we'll go Gene.
You know, I've had a few takes that have aged pretty poorly, specifically in the NBA, and
It's a great start. It's a great start.
This is one of them. I really thought Paul George, I mean, obviously in his prime, right? He was fantastic. And I didn't see him falling off to this extent. When the Sixers got him, I was like, damn, they can't let us just have a good team. Like, we really about to have, such a tough division in basketball right now, competing against Embiid, Paul George, and Maxey. But I don't even know how many games they played together. 9 games, 10 games. Haven't been great. Paul himself has been like pretty ass. I don't understand it. And you can blame the podcast. I think that was like the popular thing to do, especially right. Like they play or practice like pretty much every day. So having a podcast is quite a distraction. Sorry, excuse me. But then I saw the Roommate Show, which for those of you who don't know is Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, the Knicks, superstars. And they play 47 minutes a game, all right? They don't even get a rest during the game. And for them to do a podcast, they play the full game, and Josh Hart is having the best season of his lifetime right now. I mean, he is a superstar. I can't blame the podcast. There is something wrong with Paul George, and Embiid is probably the softest athlete in all of professional sports. So will this trio ever win anything? No, they will not. They need to blow it up. They need to find a way to trade Embiid for as many assets as they can get back. He is garbage. He is nothing to me. Really, he really is just a big name, a big doofy name who would be better suited in the WWE.
And a dirty player.
Very dirty player. And I'll say it again. Soft, Charmin Ultra. All right, that's where he should be earning his checks. Is Charmin Ultra commercials. I think they need to get rid of him, and you build around Maxey. Paul George, he's a serviceable player, but not for that contract. It's unbelievable how much they're paying him for the little production that he's doing. So he's always been one to talk. Honestly, his whole career, right? They called him Playoff P. And he was asked, Shaq started calling him way off beat. So he's always been one to talk and just talk and talk. But I really always thought he was a great two-way player. But I guess, Father Time is undefeated. And he definitely smacked the shit out of Paul George.
And it seems like he also induces a little bit of an allergic reaction from you, Mr. Wudi. I don't think there's been a time that you've mentioned Embiid without coughing or hacking up a lung. So maybe we just don't speak on his name on your behalf anymore. Gene, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I exactly 100% agree. I think this is just a convenient excuse right now, is to say that's what it is. I as much as I feared them in the beginning, I fear them not at all anymore. And again, Woody's right the whole way through. Like the age, the mileage on his legs, it's over. They need to just break it down. Maybe keep Maxey, and that's it.
I think there was a real breaking point when my Toronto Raptors defeated Philadelphia Sixers, shout out to the Claw, in 2019, which really broke the spirit of Philly at that time, because they were just about reaching their peak of what's the era that they used to call this thing? With
the process.
Yeah. See, now that's even just, that doesn't even mean anything anymore at all. And it broke the spirit and the will. Again, I think it's just, Embiid has just turned into a player that can't do the things that were projected, and he's just he's having a rough go, and it's not getting any better. And I think you're right. Drafted Maxey in my fantasy pool, and that guy, I'm constantly getting notifications of either points or assists or something, like constantly, almost every night he plays. If he's out a game, guys, he's out one game. This kid loves to ball, and he will do it efficiently. And I think it's time, to your point, Wudi, let's blow up the team and like bring some new pieces in. It's time to rebuild. Don't give it a title. Don't give it a name. Just do it softly, just a city of brotherly love, and just keep it at that and bring the Sixers back to fame. Ask Iverson what he's doing. He's around. Okay. Now let's talk about this. The New York Knicks. They've been having a little bit of a rocky go. It's really been inconsistent. Let's say that. It's been bumpy at times. They've had some good times, some rough times, since the All-Star break, maybe even just before the All-Star break. Are they pretenders is the question. Gene.
100%. And it hurts me to say it.
Didn't even miss a beat. Usually you take a second to take it all in and suck up the air, but this time
I finally, after getting smacked by Boston last week, I've now decided in my own head that I was the worst part is they can beat 95% of the league. They just can't beat 3 teams. And not only do they lose those 3 teams, they get dismantled every time they play them. So OKC, Boston, and Cleveland. It's not the loss. It's how they lose those games. It's like they show up and it's almost like they're a G League team. And I don't know if it's a mental thing or what it could be. And if you look at this team on paper, going into this year, you're like, this is maybe the best starting lineup we've had that I can remember in such a long time, maybe ever. When your 4th option is Mikal Bridges, that's pretty exciting. I think what we've lost is I think the defense in the middle, as good as he's been on offense and rebound and on the boards, we lost a little defensively there, and I don't think we have the depth that we need to have to be able to compete. And I think that's the 2 things: there's like grittiness and the depth and that defense that we've lost. Because when you look at the names on the sheet, you got to be excited about that lineup, but there's more to it than that 20 games, right? So. At this point, it's definitely not. I mean, contenders, I guess, but pretenders totally. Like they're just not going to beat these teams. They can't beat them at all now. They're not going to beat them when the stakes are even higher. They're just not. So as much as it hurts me to say, I say that I got to go pretender.
I think that's the biggest thing for me is that Gene's usually the homer. I was expecting him to be like, "Hey, what are you talking about? NBA Finals. I got the tattoo right here."
I was online, and then I saw the Boston game, and I was like, "Get off this line."
I mean, I do gotta call them. I gotta call them pretenders. I think Gene did a fantastic job of talking about some of their issues, right, with the depth, with the defense. One of my takes. Right, I already said I've had a few NBA ones that have aged pretty poorly, but the one I'll say maybe the one that has aged pretty well is my initial thought when Karl-Anthony Towns was traded was like I don't know if this is, and I know he's already played with Tibbs, right? I know that, but it's like I don't know if this is a Tom Thibodeau roster anymore, and I think that's been the issue. Is that last year they had a Thibodeau roster, gritty, a whole bunch of role players, so they had the defense, they had the grind, Hartenstein comes in there, he's rough and tough. Mitch, coming there rough and tough. Hart was coming off the bench at times. But now, right, that starting 5 is fantastic, but they're more offensively, right? They went from tops in defense, kind of shaky in offense, to now tops in offense and super shaky on defense. So all of the defensive philosophy, everything like that, has kind of gone out the window. And the offense is clicking, but that could be even better. I think it truly could. So at this point, it's like, do you retool the roster again to try to make it a Tom Thibodeau roster? Or do you admit what I would call the hard truth that Tom Thibodeau cannot coach an NBA Finals champion? He's had so many chances to do it, so many rosters to try, and he has failed time and time again. Just can't do it. Can't win an NBA championship, playing 6 guys a night, right? Running them into the ground, killing D Rose, and get a new coach. Get a new coach because this roster, inarguably, that starting 5 is one of the best in the league. It's a top 5 starting 5 in the league. You have so many assets, right? You can add depth, man, without like killing anything with the starting 5. You can add depth very easily, right? And then now you have a new coach. And that guy can lead this roster to the promised land. You are so close. You are very close. But I don't think Thibodeau is the man.
There you go. Listen, shout out to Mets 2128. Bring me in to explain this one. I love a tag in. Wish you could, Mets. If you want to put in a point form, we would love that. We will definitely read it. Unfortunately, we can't right now, but thank you for that. We really appreciate that. And the Knicks are going through it, so we're gonna find out. We are definitely gonna find out. James Wudi making Tommy Tibbs look like the Eagles version of Andy Reid. Woo. Okay. Hot takes.
Well, Andy Reid was out here. He was making Super Bowls. He just couldn't win the big one. Tibbs can't even get there because his guys are dead. They're dead in the playoffs. Six players playing every single night for 82 and then 90, 100 games it's just not the formula.
Formulas. There's been a couple. And these two teams have figured it out, but we don't know because once they get to the playoffs, that's going to be a different thing. We're going to mash these two topics together. We're talking about which team is for real. All right, here we go, Mets. Yeah, let's jump into this. My point is something that I've been calling for years. Tibbs is a tin man who has no adaptability. Fair. Yeah, fair. Gentlemen, any thoughts on that?
I agree. That's kind of what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. My man has been 10 his whole right. We know what we're getting with Thibodeau. High floor, super high floor. That's why when we hired him, there's a reason to be excited because he's about to bring this team back to relevance. But if the ultimate goal is win a championship, my man hasn't made it to the finals, and I know now this is the exact opposite. Is what Knicks is saying right here, firing the coach, might not be too wise. I don't know, man. I think the roster is so good right now that you need somebody who can get the best out of these players, and make them, the absolute best they can be. Because I know I can with this starting 5, I can win a championship in 2K, no problem. But right now, the real X's and O's. I feel like we have a deficit.
All right. Now let's jump into what I was mentioning before. These teams for real, is the OKC Thunder for real, or are the Cleveland Cavs?
Wait, real quick. I'm so sorry, Nigel.
That's okay.
I'm actually just curious to know because Gene hasn't actually commented whatsoever about Tom Thibodeau. And right now we have a tie in the comments right between Mets and
I think he's Buck Showalter of baseball. Which is kind of what you said. I think he's a guy that brings respectability back to a team to an organization that had some issues, gets them on a winning path, but there's something lacking in getting him over that championship hump.
And that's the biggest thing because everybody wants to win that ring, but there's just something once you get into the playoffs, you gotta play your heart out. For sure, for franchise instantly we fire Tibbs. You watch, yeah, maybe. Sometimes it's just change. Sometimes it just there needs to be a change, and not necessarily a scapegoat, but often that's really what it's called.
I do agree with him with that. I'm not ready to make that move yet.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this. This is the run out right here. We're talking about the Cavs. OKC Thunder. The Cavs are right now leading the East with a 48-10 record. They are destroying, and also OKC is leading the West with 47-11 in their pocket. These teams, are they for real? Gene, let's go with you. You can pick either team. You can pick both teams. What do you think? Are these teams for real?
Yes, I don't think either of them win the title this year. But they're good teams. Look what they've, like I said, we've just said the Knicks are really good teams. They can't beat a few of those teams. Those are two of the teams they can't beat. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be Boston. So where I do think these guys are both organizations are fantastic. I just don't think that they're as good as Boston.
Yeah, Boston's pretty good. I won't lie. they're a pretty good team.
They did get smacked by Detroit the other night, but yes, they're pretty good.
They did. Hey, we're gonna be talking about Detroit in like 1 minute.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Continue.
But I really like the Thunder. I thought the Thunder last year, like, classic, right? Like, super young, super talented team, kind of like the Kings were. Like, remember we were hyped on the Kings, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, right? Like, they have a really good team. And then they got exposed. But here's the thing. I think we don't see, or we don't agree on what they got exposed for, right? A lot of people were saying, oh, they got, young and experienced. They don't have the championship grit. What I think they got exposed for was that their only big man weighs 95 pounds, right? Chet can't be out there. He was, Valanciunas on the Pelicans was averaging like 20 rebounds. Like, for real, that whole series, he was getting 20 rebounds every game. But now they have Hartenstein. I think they so appropriately addressed their biggest weakness that I would be scared of them now. Right. Because it wasn't like SGA crumbled. It wasn't like Jalen Williams was crumbling. Even Chet was doing his best. He would get like 9 rebounds. He was trying. He was still getting his 3 blocks. But when it came push or shove to get those rebounds, which are so important, especially playoff games, right? The rebounding battle is huge. Now you have a guy who can get 10 rebounds every night, who's not going to let someone like Valanciunas just completely dominate the boards. I feel really good about them. The Cavs, I don't know. Like, I feel like I haven't seen a difference. Like, they are the same team, right? The same team that keeps dominating in the regular season and then crumbling. There's still Darius Garland, still.
There's one difference.
What Evan Mobley?
The coaching.
Okay. Yes.
They do have a new coach that could be putting in a different philosophy. I mean, that could really be it.
That's true. That's a really good point. Damn. But I will say,
whoops.
But no, I still think in the East is a little bit more in terms of like the Cavs' road to get there, right? What we just said about the Celtics. I think they will have a tougher time than the Thunder, where like the West is, everyone's good, everyone's really good, but no one's been able to figure out SGA. So I just really think that the Thunder, they would have me shaking in my boots a bit, whereas the Cavs, to Gene's point, definitely they got a new groove, but they got their own fish to fry in Boston.
Cleveland's fine all across the board. The Guardians are fine. They made the playoffs. The Cavs are fine. They're going to make the playoffs.
Browns not fine.
What's that?
The Browns not fine.
I mean, I'm not even considering the Browns anymore. But like, it's fine. They're fine. You know what else is fine? Marvel Studios saying, "Hey, we're going to dial back the amount of content that we're putting out because we know it's been garbage." That's fine too. All I'm saying is that like Cleveland is now going to go. They're going to make the playoffs convincingly, but they're not going to have the juice or the stamina or the experience to keep up with the Joneses. I think a pass. We've now seen that a pass or a bye in the first round can be a detrimental thing. We have seen that now because some teams just can't get past it. Like when you get that bye, you get that rest. We love it, but you don't have the momentum from playing and hustling and getting in. Now you got to get back into your groove, and then you get down 2 games. Like, so it's really, really interesting. So let's see how the season shakes out, how it finishes, and where the Cavs finish, because that's gonna make or break, I think, where they end up in terms of going any further, obviously, or just like, okay, they are who we thought they were. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So it's very interesting to see. All right. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about this. There's a fun game that all of us kids used to play called Marry, Love, Kill. Okay, great. Now let's play it, but slightly different. We're going to call it start, bench, cut. It's been played before, but now we're talking about Mr. Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, or LaMelo Ball. Now we got three very distinct ballers. Which one are we putting them in? Start, bench, or cut? Let's go with Wudi, and then we'll go with Gene.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these three, but they all have in common, they're young, right? They are the next generation. They should be where they're at right now for the next 5-10 years. They're all triple-double threats, right? That, at any given time can just take over the game. So with that being said, I really love LaMelo. I refuse to cut LaMelo. Maybe I'm biased because, I'm trying to swerve in that corner. Woo. I'm talking about. I'm trying to, I can't cut my man. I can't cut him. But start him. That would be bugging. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to start the phenom that has finally come to be.
Risen from the ashes.
It's risen from like a phoenix.
Yeah.
He don't play a phoenix, but a phoenix from the ashes. Yeah. Okay, number 1 overall pick. They doubted him, but now he's looking like one of the best players in the league. Exactly what they were saying pre-draft. Give me CC Cade Cunningham starting. All right, for this squad, and then I got LaMelo on the bench. I mean, this man. He can do it all. He's been, leading Charlotte to competitive losses, but that's not on him. They're trying to make trades. Physicals getting failed. They're doing their best to try to build that team. But LaMelo's a bona fide star. Now, Paolo, this is not any disrespect to him whatsoever. He's a fantastic player. he's a fantastic player. Really good, honestly. Like, he was doing work last year, carrying the Magic. It was a huge loss that they lost him this season, but now he's back. He's doing his thing. I don't think he has the range, shooting range as the other two. I don't think he is as versatile as the other two, but he's a great player, and he will, like I said, be around for the next 5-10 years for sure. Now, Gene, talk to us about your homerism, because now you live there. You've been to some Magic games. You have a jersey in your closet. So talk to us about why you make jersey.
But I'm starting Cunningham, benching Banchero, and I'm cutting LaMelo.
Wow.
Anything to get away from his brother and his one-footed father.
Damn. Savage. You just turned into the Red Hulk just now. That was the trigger.
Sorry, I can't stand. Listen, anytime I see that a post with that song on it, I skip right past it. And I've never been a LeVar Ball fan, so.
All right.
If I was attached to him like his foot was, I'd leave too.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, man. I am right there with Wudi. I think CC definitely going to start. I'm putting LaMelo on the bench only because I think I don't want him to get his new Pumas TMNT crossover shoes, those jams to get mashed up on the floor. I want him to be chilling and making sure everybody sees the footwear. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Those things are wild. And am I into it? Yes. Will I buy a pair? Zero chance. But they're dope. So let's put LaMelo just like chilling. Paolo, listen, man, for real. You're good. You're just not good enough when we're talking about these two other gentlemen. That's all there's to it, man. Love you. Appreciate you. Orlando, figure it out. Okay. You know what? We did a thing today, but there's a couple things that I wanted to make sure that we touched on in terms of my favorite segment. What did we miss? I'll tell you one thing that we missed. We didn't talk about Luka playing his old team again back in LA on Tuesday. Sunil, you did mention it, and I was waiting and sitting on this. So this is for you, my man. 2.5 million viewers watched that game. I knew it was going to be bananas, and the game was indeed that. It literally had everything. They were down, they were up, the comeback, and you thought it was going to happen, and then the Lakers eventually won it out. But he was vicious in that game, and I loved every minute. Do you guys watch that game by any chance? We didn't even chat then.
I was working, but it was on at the ball.
Okay. All right.
I did not watch. I did bet on it, and I lost. Luka, yo, my, how you get 30 points? You 1 for 9 from 3. I had him getting three threes. That was the only leg that didn't hit. I got Clay 3. Sorry, you guys don't care about my
No, you say it, man. You say it.
Nah. I mean, I had Clay hitting a couple threes. I had, Austin Reeves doing some work. I had LeBron getting some rebounds and assists. The only leg that missed was Luka Doncic. My man going 1 for 9. I thought he was going to torch these dudes,
Right.
which he actually technically did. I mean, he had a 30-point triple double, but from 3, like usually, he does some work. And 1 for 9 was not it.
Yikes. Also, I wanted to mention, scrolling through IG, doom scrolling as one does, found a clip of this guy at J. Clark the Jumper. He is a science teacher, and he put on a dunk contest for students in the gym. This might be some of the most electrifying dunks that I've seen since maybe Vince Carter. I know I'm a homer, but obviously we can all agree that the last couple years, except with the exception of one guy who's not even in the NBA, the dunk contest has been pretty lame. But if you get a chance, J. Clark the Jumper, Clark is in C-L-A-R-K, the Jumper, and this man is dunking in he's got some ball shoes on, but they're pretty casual. But he's also wearing his dress pants, a dress shirt, and tie. This guy just came out of class and was like, let me put on a show real quick in the gym. So if you can find it, do yourself a favor. It was very entertaining. It's also on Slam Royale, so at Slam Royale or J. Clark the Jumper. It's absolutely phenomenal. Great watch. Hey, we did the thing. And it was super fun. I'm glad you guys could all be here and watch us and be entertained. And also, thank you so much. Thank you so much for commenting in the YouTubes and watching on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it and all the other outlets there. Don't forget to follow us. I should have prepped for this, but I didn't. Genefitzmagic, can you just make sure to give our IG proper, please? Our IG, you have to look it up. No problem. I'll take care of this.
I believe it's the Pop-Off Sports Show. So at the Pop-Off Sports Show. Looks like a sentence, but no, it's just like 4 words.
That's pretty funny. Looks like a sentence. Can we put that on the descriptor? Looks like a sentence, but it's 4 words. That's very funny. Thank you for that. So make sure to follow. We're going to be posting some more things as much as we can. Just kind of keep content rolling a little bit. So we're just kind of getting into the flow because we rebranded. We rallied the troops. We're doing the thing. Weekend words, my dudes. Let's jump into it. The weekend is right around the corner. Mr. Wudi, weekend words for you, sir?
Yeah, just a lot of appreciation. We're over 125 viewers, for the last 20 or so minutes. We're still above there. So, those who hopped in, appreciate you guys staying. Love the conversation, the back and forth, that's what sports is all about. My whole life, it's debating, we should do this, they should do that. So it's so great to, do that with you guys as we do every Friday, but then also get joined up in the comments. And another special shout out, because we talk about the rebrand, but we don't talk about who did the rebrand. Our very own Nigel Downer. Look at this.
Bro,
Look at that right there. So fantastic work.
Thanks,
And shout out to Uptown Sports TV, giving us a platform to be able to produce for you. You can see right there in the bottom right corner, Uptown Sports TV. So of course, obviously, like this video, show us some love, and then make sure you're following us for updates on the show itself at the Pop-Off Sports Show.
Love it. Genefitzmagic.
I don't really have anything to say. Beautiful weather out today.
All right.
Probably to buy me a hat.
Yeah, okay. This son of a bit. Hey, listen, thank you. My name is Nigel Downer. This has been fun on behalf of the three of us, Caleeb as well. We will see you guys next week. And Knicks, listen, man, we're not completely hating on the Cavs, just a little bit. Sunil, yeah, man. I mean, pop up. I might have a pop right now, but it'll be a can. So whatever. Guys, have a fantastic weekend. This has been the Pop Off. We'll see you next week. Peace.